Welcome to Thinkific's Teach Online TV. My name is Tyler Basu. I'm the content manager for Thinkific, and today I am joined by one of our customers, Erica Franken, and she works in the professional development department over at CPHR, which is the Chartered Professionals in Human Resources, and they create accredited and approved professional training and development courses, which we'll learn a little bit more about today. But she's offered to come into the studio and share her experience with Thinkific and online course creation. So Erica, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.
So can you just expand a little bit on what you do, how you got into the role that you have today, and then we'll get into your journey with creating courses.
Okay. So CPHR BC and Yukon designates the designation for HR professionals working in the field. The designation started in 1989. And basically, we're here to help HR professionals guide their careers along. Specifically, myself, I work in professional development. So that means that I'm responsible for online learning as well as in-person learning throughout all of BC and the Yukon.
Very cool. And you've been using the platform since 2013, I think it was. You're one of our first customers a few years back.
Yeah.
Now, was your organization teaching online before then, or is that when you first made the first step towards creating online courses?
We were doing online webinars, so live webinars, certainly before 2013, but after 2013, when we joined up with you guys, that gave us the chance to upload all of our live webinars and share them in an immortal sense with all of Canada as well.
Okay, and so you've got webinars on the platform and some courses as well. Can you tell us a little bit about the types of courses that you've got?
Yeah, well, our designation is responsible for 9 different competencies in HR. So that covers labor and employment relations, employee engagement, strategic planning. There's a whole set of 9, a whole reel that HR professionals are responsible for. So you can imagine that our library is really built out. I mean, even within those competencies, there's so much specificity that comes from that. And the HR professionals who are members of ours in our community are specialists in sometimes just one specific topic within the competency. So all that to say, our library encompasses all of that and is ever growing. And since uploading the live webinars and as well recording courses, we've also had the chance to build out recordings of in-person workshops as well. That we've shared with our members. So.
Okay, so you've got multiple courses, multiple instructors even too, right?
Yeah, from the community for sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What has the process been like with using our platform, using Thinkific to create these courses and to get them online? If you could just tell us a little bit about your experience with that process.
Yeah, so obviously 2013 was when things got started. I started with CPHR in 2016 early on. So I can't speak to what it was like directly for the 3 years prior, but certainly I know that my predecessors felt like we were well taken care of. And while we were well taken care of, the website and you guys were just sort of keeping us afloat while we were figuring out what was next. It was something that I learned a little bit more about, not immediately after I took my role, but perhaps 6 months after. And that initiated a conversation between Veronica Howes and myself, who has just been amazing, as well as Greg. And yeah, we just feel like we've had our hand held the entire time and like it hasn't been a problem. And I like I said, I didn't get training on the platform. I just kind of had to jump in and see what it was all about. And it was immediately obvious what we needed to do and how we needed to do it. And we've had members continuously enrolling every day. If you look at our overview when we jump in on our dashboard, just every day there's enrollments. And enrollments as far as the UK and New Zealand we've had as well. It's just everywhere. And it's something that we don't even need to necessarily pay attention to. It's immortal in that sense. So.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Right.
And how are these people finding the courses,
That's
the ones that are enrolled, especially the ones from other parts of the world?
Yeah. Well, our members, you can be a member from anywhere in the world, so there's that. But we upload all of our courses from PD On Demand, which is our name for Thinkific. We upload all of those courses onto our calendar. So we have a course calendar that sits, and sometimes the dates don't have to be sensitive. I mean, you can apply to go to a symposium, which might be on a specific date in person. But on that same calendar, we upload every course that we offer onto our calendar. So anyone perusing our website is immediately redirected to Thinkific, which is our PD On Demand.
Okay.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about your process for choosing a course that you're going to create, choosing what content to put in it, or finding instructors to help teach it?
Right.
What happens behind the scenes before the final product is actually put on the platform?
Well, everything happens behind the scenes. Yeah, it's to follow the world of an HR professional is quite a pace to keep up. I'd be best off to wear my running shoes in the office. I mean, in that sense, it's just there's, like I said, there's 9 competencies to follow, and each one of them have their own really clear, specific intentions and functions as a role of an HR professional. So, I mean, the big picture is that I'm attending symposiums, meetings, roundtables, getting a clear understanding of what it is specifically that HR professionals are struggling with, and from there connecting with instructors and/or experts in the community who say, hey, this is how I would approach this. It's not the practice to follow, but it's one of the best practices to follow. And we really love as well at CPHR to honor the local experts of our community. I mean, we're member-based, of course, and these are people who have mobility to move around the community and share their expertise in person. So for us to be able to compound that with online learning with the same people, it's an awesome benefit. And we've been practicing now with doing voiceover recordings with PowerPoint in our own office. So that's been working out really well as well.
Okay, very cool. So you're creating different types of content.
Yes, continuously, and series of as well.
Okay.
So labor relations update or an employment law update that might have taken place last May. Obviously, things have changed since then, and there's more to keep up on. So that becomes a series.
Okay.
Or even our live webinars, which don't necessarily start with Thinkific, but they go through our own office. Being able to download those and then upload them back to Thinkific to share after the fact makes it possible for the rest of our sister associations to follow through and also take advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find that do you ever go back and update older training, or do you add new training instead?
We update. I think it's important. Some are time sensitive and do have a shelf life, and it would be irresponsible of us to sell, advice, if you will, that's completely outdated and has been overridden since the previous month. So yeah, there's some you do have to do a pulse check, of course, and it means keeping in regular contact with the instructors as well, because they'll be the ones to tell you what's new and what's not.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any specific features or capabilities of the platform that have been the most useful to you, or that you like the most?
Yeah. Well, I would say overarchingly the fact that people can register on their own time, the fact that it's at their own pace. We love to give away freebies, so being able to administer coupons like that is awesome. And also being able to install quizzes and feedback as well. So right now we're in the process. I actually connected with Greg, your CEO, directly. And that was awesome because he came right into my office and was able to share with me how he himself created an LSAT online prep course.
Yep.
And we are responsible for the National Knowledge Exam, which designates HR professionals. So that's on our docket too, and I have no idea how to do that. But having connected with Greg and knowing that it's possible with your platform, that's just making our lives 10 times easier. I mean, the fact that we can use it for something as complicated and comprehensive as that, as well as a simple upload of an hour course that people can pay at a low price, it's an all-around tool for sure.
Right. Now, because you create accredited courses for professional development, it's a little bit different from somebody who can just teach whatever they want to whoever they want, because you're in a sense accountable to other bodies, other organizations. So can you just tell us a little bit about what that's like, creating an accredited course that helps somebody with their professional development, where they're able to does that course count towards their hours of training? Are they getting certifications? How is that all set up?
So there's a little bit of a distinction there. So we have our own signature courses, which puts us in a position to create whatever we want to create. Obviously that's in conjunction with the experts of the field. But you're right, we also do have accredited courses that we're responsible for, and it's really our stamp on these courses to say, yes, we vetted it against our own criteria of what we consider to be a quality course. A perfect example would actually be one of your other clients, Wendy Kwan. She's founder of the Calm Monkey. She offers mindfulness facilitator training, and we see that as a direct fit with our expectations of what our HR professionals could be studying as a contributory piece to their learning. So yes, there's absolutely a responsibility there to make sure that as partners, Wendy's being taken care of. Her course content is in line with our expectations for what HR professionals could be learning as quality learning. And so, yeah, it's tiered, it's layered. I mean, we can do our own thing, and we do our own thing, but we also have the responsibility of making sure that what else we offer is in line with what we would expect our own courses to look like.
Okay, well, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Are there any specific challenges or any difficulties that relate to any part of this process that you face as somebody in the professional development field when your responsibility is to oversee the creation of these courses? And what would you say is the hardest part of your role?
Trust in the way that what is being offered is coming out in the way we intended for it to come out. I mean, it's the life story of project management, right? What something looks like at the beginning is not ever something that it looks like at the end. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, but just having trust in who you're working with and the process and the technology, and also yourself, and just knowing that your intentions at the beginning are going to fuel a good product at the end. And sometimes you find out that that's not true as it's happening in front of other people.
Right.
And being able to own up to that and to be able to say, hey, you know what? We're sorry that didn't work out. Let's try better next time. And definitely with some of our courses on PD on demand, I don't know that any platform has a perfect offering. There's always feedback to offer. There's always changes or challenges that are forcing you to move in a different direction, and having our platform on Thinkific enables us to have that virtual conversation through the testimonial piece. There's a feedback piece as well that clients are sharing on, and we welcome that and we want that.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. I think being open to the feedback of your students helps you improve your content, sometimes even gives you ideas for more courses and for more training.
Yes.
How have you set up that feedback loop? Like, what are some of the ways that you're interacting with the students as they go through these courses?
Yeah, so the feedback loop, it was another piece of my discovery entering back into what Thinkific offers as I stepped into my role. And of course, at first it was scary. I didn't realize that it existed. It had been enabled on the platform, and I didn't know. And so we had this history of feedback that was offered to us that I wasn't paying attention to because I didn't know. So that gave us a real chance to offer a response of some kind to those who had shared. But also more so than that, to build in a more comprehensive and complicated way of getting real data. So we use evaluation surveys now. We use follow-up emails now. So after every course is completed, that person gets a follow-up email to say, hey, congratulations, you completed your course. What's next for you? Here's some thoughts on what you could be taking. And it's just a friendly way to have a conversation. Sometimes you can get the email and say, okay, great, that's great. Other times we've flipped out that email. Obviously it's automated, and we've had people responding back saying, I'm not sure about this piece. Can you flesh that out a little bit more? At that point, it's an opportunity to connect them directly with the instructor. Or, hey, that was an awesome course, tell me more. And we love that. Whatever it is, we love that.
Yeah, no, that's a great approach. Do you have any advice or suggestions for other course creators who are trying to improve their completion rates or engagement with their students? What has been effective for you guys?
Yeah, well, obviously the immediate pulse check is to say, why is this course predominantly not being completed? It could have something to do with the content, and I think that's the obvious first guess. But the second one is to just pick up the phone and be a human and talk to them and ask. And it's not nagging. I mean, if they don't answer or they're not interested, maybe it's something else. You can only know what you know, and if there's an opportunity to do better there, then a phone conversation is, I think in my mind, the perfect customer service oriented way to figure that out. And if not, then yeah, there might be other ways. Your evaluation, of course, or the feedback loop. Or sometimes it's just that disconnect of learning online. Like I have, maybe I'm not the perfect example, but I have 3 online courses that I'm taking right now, and I'm not completed any of them, and I'm not in a rush, because the best part about that is that it's on my own time. So being aware of that as well.
Okay, so the self-paced course, I mean, it's up to you to decide how fast you want to go through it, right?
And sometimes that's for the benefit, because there is a function to be able to cut it off, if I understand correctly, like a one-time view. So that awareness piece as well, because perhaps they've signed up because they know that I definitely need to know about this topic coming down the pipeline, but maybe the project they're working on at work or whatever it is that's happening in their personal life, for the reason being of taking the course, needs them to make that available for whatever length of days. So there's always contextual pieces, of course.
Do you have any tips in terms of marketing or spreading the word about your course? Like how have you been able to enroll so many students into these courses? How are they discovering these programs and trainings that you offer?
I think the appeal alone of being online is a great start, but what I can really chalk it down to is the fact that we've attributed every course that we offer to our online calendar. Okay. We have a lot of frequency there anyways, so I would guess my advice would be if there's a hot spot that is attributed to you as a business owner or a company or whatever it is already, marry it to that. I don't know that, I don't know the answer, but I'm not certain or confident that a lot of our members would know PD on Demand exists without our calendar. We also do e-blasts, as I'm sure many people do as well, so there's that awareness piece too. Yeah. But just the immortality of living on our calendar is really helpful.
Right. So in e-blasts, you mean email marketing?
Yeah.
You've got an email database that you contact.
Yes.
How is the calendar set up? How does that work? If somebody is wondering how they can create that, what would they need to do?
If they wanted to create their own calendar, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I don't have the IT side of that, of course, but I guess from the content management piece, we make our calendar postings look exactly like they would look on our PD on Demand.
Okay.
So you're really missing nothing. If you're looking at a course that's marketed on our calendar that's hosted on PD on Demand, Thinkific, you've read everything you need to know about it, and by the time your interest is there, you hit the registration button and it just brings you to Thinkific. Okay. So there's no more lifting a finger. Your interest is secured by the time you've hit register, and then now you're living on Thinkific.
Okay, that's great. What kind of an impact has creating online courses had on your organization? And just based on some of the feedback you've received from students, how has creating all of these online courses changed or improved or helped your organization grow?
That's an awesome question, and it's so timely, in part because this is the first year that we've uploaded our conference onto Thinkific.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
Yeah, so we have an annual conference. It welcomes about 1,000 delegates a year, and it attracts really big name speakers. Our latest one was Elizabeth Gilbert. Josh Burson, who's a big name in the HR world. So I guess chicken and egg, if you will, by having a presence online as we have, there was enough demand circling back to say, well, I live in Prince George or I live in Whitehorse and I can't make it to your Vancouver conference, but I would love to see it. So we already filmed the sessions anyways, and so this was just a natural progression to say, let's get it online. And we were able to sell it for a bundled package, a package price, and we have had a ton of registrations since uploading it.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
So I've just got one last question for you, and then we'll wrap up. If somebody is thinking of creating online courses, thinking of teaching online, and they're taking a look at Thinkific and wondering if something that would be helpful for them, what could you say? Any words of encouragement, advice as they go down this path?
Yeah, I would say you don't need to be an IT guru. I'm the least tech savvy there is. And like I said, I had to jump onto it right away to do my job. And I found that it was basically hands-free. The only issue was the user. So if someone's looking to pursue that, I would say know that you're well taken care of. There's so much functionality. The marketing emails that you send, I feel like are for a forever conversation. You guys always seem to have a pulse on what it is that people are likely looking to do next. And yeah, you won't be alone. It's a bit counterintuitive to think because it's an online learning platform and ultimately it doesn't need a human really to function. But that's the part that I've loved so much about working with Thinkific, is that there's so many humans behind the scene and you guys are immediately available, and yeah, you're taken care of and you'll be in good hands. Perfect. Well, Erica, thank you so much for taking the time to come and visit us today and for sharing your story and your experience with using Thinkific so far. We're happy to have you using the platform, and of course we're here if there's anything we can do to help. Just let us know. Thank you.
But thanks again for your time.
Thanks.